Most people assume technology matters most when it feels exciting, when headlines are loud, when product launches feel dramatic, when predictions sound revolutionary. That's when attention is highest. That's when technology feels important. But history suggests something very different. The moment a technology becomes boring is often the moment it becomes powerful. In the early stages, new technology attracts attention because it feels unstable. Capabilities are unclear, use cases are debated, outcomes are uncertain. That uncertainty creates energy. It produces conferences, speculation, bold forecasts, and exaggerated promises. It rewards visibility. But visibility is not the same as influence. What actually reshapes industries is not the moment a technology appears. It's the moment it disappears into systems. When it stops being discussed and starts being relied upon. When it becomes predictable enough to be governed. This transition rarely looks impressive. There are no viral demos, no dramatic breakthroughs, no obvious disruption, just quiet integration. Rules being written, processes being standardized, interfaces being defined, systems beginning to connect to one another. When technology enters this phase, power begins to shift. Not toward the loudest companies, not toward the most charismatic founders, but toward the organizations that control infrastructure, the ones that define standards, the ones others must integrate with, the ones that quietly shape how decisions are made. This is why mature technology rarely feels disruptive. It feels administrative, embedded in finance systems, in compliance processes, in operations and procurement, invisible to most users, but decisive for organizations. At this stage, technology no longer accelerates everything. It filters. It determines what is allowed, what is efficient, what is too risky, what is too expensive. Decisions still involve people, but the conditions surrounding those decisions are shaped elsewhere. This filtering effect changes how companies behave. Once systems are stable, behavior adapts to them. Teams stop asking what is possible and start planning around what is permitted. Products are designed to fit existing rules. Expansion follows predictable pathways. Risk becomes something to be managed upstream. Innovation doesn't disappear, but it moves inside boundaries. This pattern is not new. It appeared with electricity long after the light bulb stopped being exciting. It appeared with telecommunications once networks became regulated utilities. It appeared with the internet itself after protocols replaced experimentation. Each time, the technology felt less magical, and each time its influence expanded. In every case, power shifted away from novelty and toward coordination, toward the organizations that maintained reliability, the institutions that enforced standards, the systems that others had no choice but to use. This is also when geography starts to matter again, even in a digital world, because systems need anchors, legal certainty, regulatory clarity, institutional trust. Technology does not float freely. It settles where coordination is possible and where rules are dependable. This is why power consolidates quietly, not through dramatic takeovers or visible disruption, but through defaults. Which platforms become standard, which processes become accepted, which systems are treated as normal. Once something becomes the default, challenging it becomes costly. At that point, competition no longer happens on the surface. It happens in architecture. Who sets the interfaces? Who defines compliance requirements? Who controls access to critical systems? The visible product matters less than the structure behind it. This has consequences for companies. Success is no longer just about speed or creativity or even technical excellence. It's about alignment with regulation, with infrastructure, with the systems that already exist. For founders, this means timing matters differently. Being early is no longer enough. Being compatible often matters more than being innovative. For workers, it changes where opportunity lives. Influence shifts away from flashy roles and toward operational expertise. People who understand systems, risk, and integration become more valuable than those chasing novelty. This is also why the most influential phase of technology often feels unremarkable. Because once systems are embedded, change slows. Not because innovation stops, but because it must pass through structure. Every improvement must integrate. Every new idea must align. Every deviation must justify itself. By the time the public notices this shift, the distribution of power is already in place. The technology feels boring, but the rules around it are settled, and changing those rules is far harder than building something new. This pattern repeats across industries, finance, logistics, enterprise software, infrastructure. Each time, the most important changes happen quietly. This isn't a warning, it's a pattern, one that explains why the future of technology will be shaped less by excitement and more by governance, less by novelty and more by coordination. So if you want to understand where influence is actually accumulating, don't focus on the loudest innovations. Look for the systems that feel settled, the tools that feel unavoidable, the technologies no one talks about anymore. Because that is usually where power has already moved, quietly,